narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. There has been progress which has been done, but we have also identified there are gaps, and we have discussed with my colleagues what they need to do, because the war against illicit alcohol, narcotic drugs, and psychotropic substances is a war to save Kenya. It is so crucial. And this time round, we do not want to politicize this war. There is nothing political about it. There is nothing commercial about it, or even economic. And therefore, we are not fighting businesses. We want all businesses that are legitimate to operate and contribute to generating national revenues and taxes and building the country. But at the same time, this space of alcohol is now being used by dangerous people who want to sell poisonous alcoholic drinks, some of them counterfeit, some of them laced with dangerous chemicals and drugs to destroy the people of Kenya. There are others who are peddling hard drugs, heroin, bangi, and cannabis, and all the hard drugs. And Kilifi is a victim. Kilifi is a big victim of the drugs peddlers and the sellers of dangerous substances and drinks. That war is irreversible. It is timeless. It's going to remain permanent. And we have directed all public officials who are engaged in alcohol business to shut down their businesses and open other businesses which do not lead to conflict of interest. And if they don't do that, we'll have to remove them from service. It has also been directed in the interest of national security to transfer all officers who have served in their stations for more than 3 years, again to make sure that our public officials are not conflicted, because what has been undermining the war against drugs and illicit alcohol in the past is conflict of interest by our own officers, either because they run businesses in that sector, or they have overstayed in the same stations, especially police officers, and they have gotten mixed up with local dynamics, and therefore they have lost the objectivity of law enforcement, and therefore we are working on that very well. We have discussed what we need to improve on. We'll shut down all chemists that are operating outside the law. Some of the chemists are being used to sell prescription drugs without prescription. Agrovet stores also, which are being used to sell drugs that are used for tranquilizing animals, which are now being used to concoct and mix with other substances to manufacture some of the, or to produce some of the most dangerous drugs that our young people are using today. It's actually a concoction of animal or veterinary drugs, which are normally used to tranquilize animals for transportation. And that is what the drug peddlers are doing to our country. The war against drug peddlers and those who are destroying Kenya by selling dangerous substances is irreversible, it is permanent, and we will not be swayed by public opinion or any other opinion. We remain focused, and my colleagues here are instructed to be firm, resolute, and unapologetic, because saving the nation requires fortitude and consistency. And therefore, the same way we've been permanently focused on ridding Kenya from the threat of terror, making Kenya terror-free. We also want to make Kenya drug-free, and it is possible. So those who are engaged in the drug peddling business, their time is up. I will not even say their days are numbered, because their time is up. We'll catch up with them. They have to surrender and give up, so that we can take legal action against them. And if they don't, we will go and look for them, wherever they are. Finally, as you're aware, in March last year, one of the worst tragedies to ever occur on the soil of our country occurred in this county. Just north of Malindi, at a place called Shakahola, we lost so many people, brothers and sisters who met their death in the hands of a criminal organization purporting to be an organization of faith. People were clearly terrorists and criminals, dangerous criminals, organized criminals, who were posing as men of religion, destroyed so many souls on the soil of this county. That tragedy in Shakahola Forest, and particularly Chakama Ranch, remains a very, very shameful blot in our history and also in our society, generally as a country. We continue to send our sympathies to the families that lost their loved ones. And this morning we have also reviewed where we are in terms of closure and justice, because that's what now remains. As you're aware, the experts who have been helping us to identify our departed brothers and sisters have made some progress in terms of profiling the 429 bodies that have been lying at the hospital in Malindi. And we've started releasing bodies. 4 were released yesterday. Another will be picked today. About 2-3 will be picked today. And there's a procedure. All those bodies who have been identified by their loved ones, either through DNA or physical identification or fingerprint identification, which are enough from where we sit, they will have their loved ones to bury and give them a send-off that is going to give them closure. We are very grateful to the county government of Kilifi, who have sacrificially supported our law enforcement agencies, the investigating team, and the prosecution team by preserving those bodies for more than a year now. We are very grateful to the governor of Kilifi County and the county government for going out of their way to contribute to this national matter, even if it's not even without, it's beyond their mandate. As you know, security is not a devolved function. We are very grateful. We are particularly grateful because, again, the county government has decided to waive all the charges and fees for the mortuary for all that period. And again, we are grateful. We will support the county government by paying off the electricity bills and other bills that we want to pick as national government. Also, the national government will support the families that are unable to transport their loved ones so that they can bury the remains decently. We will support them to be able to transport their loved ones. And I have directed the county security team to work with the county government so that we can identify families that require support. And the Ministry of Interior is going to support those families that are in need. Of course, there is nothing we can do to restore our brothers and sisters who met their death in that cruel manner. The only thing we can do is to achieve justice for their families and their kin. And I want to assure you, it has taken long, but we are getting there. It's a complicated crime involving murder of many people, and it has taken quite a bit, but we are on course with the primary suspect and some of the key people. But we have also other lower ranking people whom we shall also be taking to court in a short while. I am very grateful to the investigative team. They have done a good job under the Director of Homicide, Mr. Nyuguto. I think those are selfless Kenyans. They have served the country well. I am grateful to the forensics team, also from the DCI, and I'm also grateful to the Office of the Chief Government Pathologist, Dr. Johansen Oduar, who has done a great job to help us have closure. As you're aware, Chakama Ranch, particularly part of it where the principal suspect concentrated on his activities, remains a scene of crime. And therefore, last week the government has degazetted the rest of the Chakama Ranch. It's a 50,000 acre ranch. So about 46,000 acres are gazetted, and we have made sure that we don't have any possible grave sites there. But the 4,000 acres around where the principal suspect concentrated his crime remains a scene of crime and is not available for any public activities. We shall be fencing off that area. It will be available in the long term because the investigating team and the prosecution team will require that scene of crime to be able to prosecute and get justice. And the court may need site visits so that they can be able to put together the evidence and the material that they will have received from the prosecution. So that area now remains out of bounds, is not available. And because of the defilement and the discretion that was done on that scene of crime, the government has decided that that parcel, the 4,000, will be compulsorily taken by government, and it is going to be used to, first of all, arrest any of our brothers and sisters or our children who lost their lives, but either they cannot be identified for whatever reason, or maybe they have not been claimed, or if a family voluntarily agrees, we are going to lay them in a dignified manner on that parcel, and the government will also construct a memorial on that property so that it remains a permanent reminder of what happened in our country. As I've said, this is the worst security attack ever to occur on the soil of Kenya. Finally, still on Shakahola, many people, including the families of the victims and the general public and other stakeholders in the justice sector, are also waiting for the accountability of other players who facilitated this massacre. As you are aware, when this thing occurred, the president did set up a commission of inquiry under the Commission of Inquiries Act, headed by a judge, which mandate is actually now to deal with the accountability of public officials and other players whose action or inaction, conduct or misconduct, may have contributed to the death of our people. As you are aware also, this being a very litigious society, somebody went to court and blocked the operations of the Commission of Inquiry. There is an injunction, and we are hoping that that injunction is lifted as soon as possible. As soon as it is lifted, the process of accountability of public officials, including security managers who are in charge when that massacre happened, will happen. And that Judicial Commission of Inquiry will recommend prosecution and other measures, including dismissal, lustration, condemnation, vilification, anything that, any form of punishment that can shame those of us who had an opportunity to mitigate that occurrence and they did not. Either they didn't care, or they ignored it, or they underestimated it, or they just looked the other way. So I just want to urge the people of Kenya just to be patient a little bit. We will reach there. As I said, on the very many visits I did to the scene of crime last year, the government of Kenya has nothing to hide. And we will go full hog to ensure there is full accountability. So those are the things that had brought me to Kilifi this morning. It's good to see all of you. And we are still, we've still some other counties to cover in the course of the day. We started in Taita Taveta, finished, went to Kwale, finished, went to Mombasa, finished. Now we'll finish this one. We want to proceed to Tana River and other counties in the course of the day. Yangu ni kuwashukuru kwa sababu sana sana wanahabari mumetusaidia sana kuhamasisha umma. Na nyinyi pamoja na vikundi vya visivyokuwa vya kiserikali mmekuwa mstari wa mbele. Nyinyi hata ndio mlitusaidia, ndio haya mambo vile yalikuwa yamekita misisi hapa yakajulikana, and we salute you for that patriotism. Tunawashukuru sana wale wote ambao walisababisha vifo vya watu wa taifa la Kenya. Watapatana na sheria. Wauaji wakiongozwa na mshukiwa mkuu ambao tumemkamata na wale wenzake, tutahakikisha kwamba wamepata haki ya milele, wamepata hukumu ile ambayo itawasukuma maisha yanayobaki iwe ni maisha ya hukumu kwa kitendo hicho. Vile vile maafisa wa serikali ambao kwa njia moja ama ingine walihusika ama walikataa kuchukua hatua mpaka wananchi wa Kenya wakauawa kwa njia ile, vile vile tutawachukulia hatua. Kuna tume ambayo ni tume ya rais ya kuchunguza mambo hayo, na hiyo tume wakati kesi itaondolewa kotini ndio itatumika kutusaidia kujua ni hatua gani, ni maafisa gani tutashtaki, ni maafisa gani watafutwa kazi, ni maafisa gani watatajwa kwa umma kama watu ambao walikosa katika kuadilika katika kazi yao mpaka watu ya Kenya wakapoteza maisha kwa njia ile. Vile vile ile sehemu ya Chakama ekari 50,000 sasa imetolewa katika gazeti rasmi ya serikali kama mahali palipotatizika, na ile imebaki ni ekari 40 ekari 4,000 ambazo zilitumika na mshukiwa mkuu na wandani wake kufanya uhalifu ambao alifanya. Hizo ekari 4,000 zitabaki kuwa mahali palipotatizika na hazitarejeshwa katika shughuli zozote tena. Mahali pale serikali itachukua kwa sheria ambayo ni ya lazima, ili wenzetu ambao wameaga dunia na labda hawajatambuliwa ama wapendwa wao wangetaka wapumzishwe pale, tutaenda pale tufanye makumbusho, na hapo pia tuwalaze pale, na majina ya waathiriwa wote tuweke pale, ile iwe ukumbusho mahali tutakuwa tunaenda kufanya maombi na kufikiria juu ya wenzetu ambao tulipoteza kwa njia ile ambayo ilikuwa njia ya kinyama. Vile vile nashukuru serikali ya kaunti ya Kilifi imetusaidia kwa njia kubwa. Mili hiyo imewekwa hapo mwaka mzima na serikali ya kaunti haijalipisha pesa yoyote, na tunawashukuru. tutalipa ile bili hiko ya stima kama serikali kuu, na vile vile familia ambazo hazina uwezo wa kusafirisha wapendwa wao nyumbani, Wizara ya Usalama wa Taifa itagharamia mpango huo ili wale wapendwa waweze wale watu waweze kupumzisha wapendwa wao. Mambo mengine ambayo tumezungumzia hapa ni mambo ya mashamba, na tumesema kamati hii ya usalama ya Kilifi imeamrishwa kuchukua hatua kali dhidi ya watu ambao wamenyakua ardhi ya umma ama ardhi ya kibinafsi, vile vile kusaka wahalifu wakiwemo wauzaji wa madawa ya kulevya, mihadarati na pombe ya sumu. Vile vile watafute wale ambao ni wapangaji na wale ambao wanahusika na magenge ya vijana ambao yanaumiza watu na kuwapora mali yao. Kwa hayo mengi, ninashukuru wenzangu ambao wanaongozwa hapa na kamishna wa kaunti ya Kilifi, kwa sababu kupitia wao, kupitia machiefs wetu, watoto wetu hapa Kilifi wale wengi wameendelea na masomo yao, na kuhitimu kutoka shule ya primary kwenda shule ya sekondari tuko katika 99%, and I want to congratulate all the officers, especially our chiefs and their assistants, for the work well done. Nimeongea muda mrefu kimakusudi ili munipatie ruhusa niende, kwa sababu kama singeongea kila kitu mungeuliza maswali. Kwa hivyo nimeongea kila kitu, hata ile amkuwa mmeuliza nimesema. Asanteni sana. I will see you again in the near future. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Hata